Hi, welcome back to Spirit Lounge. With that, my laptop seems to be having CPU RAM issues today. Apologies for the crackiness of the introduction, the crackliness of the introduction there. Okay, we're continuing with the Shinto today, and we're going into the penultimate chapter. This is the main one. It's fairly long. It's probably the longest one out of the set. And there's a very short notes version that's going to be following this one, and that'll be the end, and I'll be finishing up today. So this is talking about the systematic training method of Chinkon, or the other world. So let's continue as we move forward with this and put this straight onto the screen. Okay, so let's move on. The method of Chinkon. So let's go straight into this. And as you can see, just as we've been through, Shinto is a religion based out of nature, the worship of nature, spirits are within nature, and it's practiced many thousands of years old. Many transformations through the Jōmon period. It has original form was Koshinto, has many different derivatives today. It doesn't have the religious orthodoxy of mainstream religions in terms of it doesn't have a central figure to worship, it doesn't have a book, it doesn't have a temple or a shrine established at the beginning, it doesn't have a religious place. What it does have is the same precepts of any other religion: ascending spirit, afterlife, reincarnation, karma, distorted energy balance, which is karma, cause and effect. It has a divine father spirit, an essence of that. 4 souls are regarded as the different aspects and ascension of a spirit, and which moves towards heaven, which stay within the earth plane. This is a belief. It's very similar to, it has a mixture of New Age, has a mixture of occult, esoteric. It has a mixture of traditional religious principles and precepts within it, although it doesn't have these founded in a specific book, And we're going through this slowly but surely, but Buddhism had a central influence in this, and it was removed during the Edo period restoration to remove what is called foreign influences. And this is where actually the establishments of physical shrines and temples came, because originally it didn't have them. Okay, there are 19 slides in this, so it's going to take probably best part of 45 minutes to go through this, so prepared for a longer passage through this. So this is a systematic training method of Chinkon. The kami within. All human beings have the potential to become kami, as we've stated many times. Every human being there resides in Nao Hino Mitama. Remember, this is the Father Spirit, the Divine Godhead. Means spirit of the straight, firm, or straight, fire or sun. This Neo Hino Mitama is Waka Mitama, or Deijin Rei, the great original spirit, i.e. the Father God, the Divine Father, the Spirit, the Source. Waka Mitama is a child spirit of Deijin Rei, the creator kami of the universe. The child spirit is what's within, the soul. This Naha Mitama is the pure and has great wisdom. The song in Yamakaji Shinto says, "From the great creating spirit of heaven and earth have received the soul, the divine breath within us, by which I am who I am." This is the purity of the soul. The received soul is the breath of the Father. The reikon, if you like, is the spirit soul. The garment, the tainted soul, of which is that expression. We can touch this with Nao Hinomitama through daily mundane affairs. The 4 souls, the Chinkon, surrounding Nao Hinomitama become disturbed and unfocused, so the body and mind are anxious and fails to find calm. When kami inside does not manifest, a person cannot proceed upward, leads to self-realization of kami. So this is in other words saying, if you don't find and realize the spirit within, you cannot move to Nao Hinomitama, which is the Divine Father's essence, presence. Therefore, the spirit soul, the child spirit, is lost, becomes tainted, which is the journey we're trying to resolve within ourselves. This Nao Hinomitama is also called the true self, Shinga, the breath, the reflection of it within us. Worldly preoccupations, we become separated from the true self. This is what I was referring to. The soul is the garment, the spirit soul, as it's told as child spirit of Ding or Degen Rei, which is the Divine Father, is separated, becomes dropped into materialism, into ignorance, which is the fall of man. We're trying to get back to the purity of the spirit, or Naho Hinomitama, which is what we're trying to achieve in this text. We can be aware that it exists and that it needs to get out. The phenomenon represents the separation between purity and impurity. The true self, shrouded by the cloud of illusion and impurity, is able to emerge if we understand it actually even exists. We have to understand it exists to go to it. The true self is a state of transcendence. It remains pure. The ego self, the soul, the spirit soul as we mentioned, living in the relative and conflicted world, cannot hear the voice of this true self, where it can if it wants to. Is always calling the true remaining transcendental true self of the I, the divine Father Spirit. The breath of God within us is calling us all the time. It is up to our ignorance to be deaf, dumb, and blind to it. To hear this voice, conduct silent listening in meditation. In Yamakage Shinto, that is known as Chinkon. So Chinkon is that practice. Okay, when we carry out Chinkon, the true self, and ego self does not have conflict, we become one body, unification of kami and the human body. Spiritually we become one, living in the flow of eternity. In Yamakage Shinto there's a saying, this body as it is kami, i.e. spirit. The human body itself, in its purely natural state, is kami, i.e. if it's in its body emitting spirit, it's spirit. Within resides Naohi Himanabhatama, which is the divine breath, a child spirit coming out of Degen Rei. The original spirit, all four souls constituting the material substance making up the physical body, are also what Degen Rei has created, the four souls, the four transcending states of being. Deep introspection through Chinkon practice intuitively know the truth of the saying, this body as it is kami, saying ancestors and I are connected as one. If and when we realize that we are spirit, we are divine and eternal, we move towards the divine breath, we start to become one. This Masubi, remember, unifying nature. I am one scene of endless continuous life history in the eternal universe. I have also inherited the physical body. I have inherited culture, knowledge, and so on. The I, keeps changing and moving towards spirit, the kami. This chronological process of birth, growth, which is becoming, the transcendence, transformation, development, process of reincarnation of Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, which is creation, preservation, and destruction. I live means I am living in the flow of this eternity. Saying everything is I means that everything is the result of the transformation and creation of Degen Rei, the Father Spirit energy. The creator kami of the universe, kami being spirit. This also means everything is interconnected and part of the web of life. So you can see, regardless of all these, it doesn't reflect established religious doctrine. Established religious architecture. It has everything that the esoteric has, the New Age has, and organized faith has within its underlying structural precepts and understanding belief systems that it teaches. The meaning of Shinkon. Shinkon means making our drifting soul settle down at Chufu, the spot below the belly button, in other words. It means finding the physical center and the center of consciousness. We call people's cheerfulness gaiety, or kon, soul. Kon is moving, the soul is moving. We invite a drifting, moving soul, kon, to settle down at Chafu, at the Tanden. Therefore, this practice is called Shinkon. Kon being the soul, and Shin, I guess, being the Shafu, the movement. Shin is the context, means settle or calm down, calming of the soul, Shinkon. Kon means soul. Iso no Kami shrine in Tenro city, they practice chanting mysterious spells called Tokusha or Kandakara which means the 10 kinds of kami treasure. People can heal sickness or even bring a dead person back to life by keeping the soul of the dead. Well, this is I would call is dark practices and black magic. Transition to the other world after physical death is only used by Shinto priests to help people. Yamakasi Shinto has transmitted a different method of takusho no kandakara. So I would say, with every faith, there's always the element of moving things into darker practices. Every faith has a spiritual side, and that spiritual side can be practiced in light or it can practice in dark. There's no difference, and nothing's different in Shintoism. The soul of the typical person is scattered, drifting around the physical body without focusing at all. Bringing it together into a cohesive state is a practice of Chinkon. It is only in this condition that the mind becomes calm and the 4 souls of Chinkon find equilibrium. Remember, 1 spirit, 4 souls. At this point, contact with the innermost Naho Hinomitama becomes possible. This is the divine breath of God. Methods, right way of sitting or breathing in order to reach this level. So they have methods and practices. Breathing, meditating, silence, prayer, sitting are all practiced in certain methods. Same as Buddhism, same as in yogic practices and other principles like that. The sequential order of Chinkon, there are few key themes. First, we clean both the physical body and the mind, psyche, through misogi, remember, through water, the cleansing practice. Take all your clothes off at the misogi place or bathrooms and take a cold shower. Clean the groin, wash the eyes, inside of the mouth several times. Wash the whole face, ears, wash the chest, shoulder, the hands. Do the same on the right side. Cold shower from the neck to the back. Chant the words for misogi purification during this practice. Clap the hands twice. Better still, you can use salt to clean the whole body. So this is one way of doing it. If circumstances do not allow this whole process, then wash the hands, rinse the mouth, wash the entire face, sit directly facing the shrine or kamidana, a household altar. Close eyes, sit quietly, bow and clap the hands. 2 bows, 2 claps, and then 1 bow. Read the words of misogi purification and the words of great purification. Voiced from the bottom of the belly, remember, speak from the chest and the body, the gut. Express your voice with vibration, not from the throat. It is vital that you hold your chest, neck and head erect. Remember, straightness, erectness, spine stretched. You should pray this way. Give gratitude. Everything you do when connecting with the Divine Father should be confident, head firm and erect, spine stretched straight, looking forward. With slides slightly open, looking up. Look at the center of your forehead through the inside of the eyelids. You do this, you will not see negative energy. With eyes closed, close the eyes completely. The awakening of the soul, which is furutama, the practitioner is the method of breathing within Chinkon, called furutama, shaking up the soul. The method of furutama is first either stand up or sit with legs crossed. Lace the fingers of both hands with only the index fingers stretched upright together. Place that, this will be like this. Place that hand posture in front of your chest. Spread out your elbows. This method of furutama is effective in many aspects. First, utilizing the gap created between intense excitement and calmness. We drill inside of the heart. We open the soil of the soul. We have strange body movements or postures during furutama. People with asthma, heart disease, high blood pressure, or who have just recovered from sickness should avoid doing this common furutama. So depending on how intensely you do this, it obviously has energetic relevance to it if it's done correctly. And it's saying obviously do it when in a healthy state. Furutama is effective then only for spiritual training, but also for maintaining physical health. The breathing method in Shinto, as in Shinsendo, yoga, and Kiko, which is Qui-Gon. Breathing is important and is called the method of Okinaga, long breathing. You exhale, you're breathing lightly through the nostrils and out of the mouth. Exhale gradually, exhaling completely to the point that you feel you cannot exhale any longer. You may even bend your body a bit forward, point you have to breathe in with a small amount of air, inhaled gradually at each moment, drawing your abdomen back in order to push up the diaphragm. It's very, very similar to yogic practices. Qui-Gon, yoga do this very, very similar breathing exercises to allow the body to relax and balance energies and frequency through the body through breathing. Very yogic and meditative, very similar. The next practice is called quiet breathing. From a complete exhale as in the above method, then inhale slowly. This time do not use chest breathing, but rather conduct abdominal breathing. This is also practiced in yoga. It is important for you to take quiet and long breaths. It is advisable after you finish these two methods of breathing, continue the quiet and deep abdominal breathing. Soon your mind will become clearer and calmer. Gradually the state of breathing becomes closer in the state of non-breathing. How to get rid of worldly thoughts. The conversation with the inner kami, Nao Hinomitama, takes the form of self-questions and self-answers. Asking questions to your own innermost heart and mind will get answers from the inner kami that express great wisdom. Worldly thoughts interrupt inner concentration. Sometimes thoughts can be knowledge and information you have acquired and stored in your heart and mind. Sometimes you add modified ones. Create philosophical or logical contents that would surprise you. Great care is needed. You might mistake them for the voice of Kami. So in other words, it's saying don't mistake the voice of the Father, the Spirit that speaks to you energetically to your own dialogue. The human mind, a split or dichotomous way, the simplest means to get rid of these worldly thoughts is to ask them, what do you have to do with me now? In other words, dismissal. Recognize and dismiss. Recognize and dismiss. Recognize and dismiss. This is a common practice. To recognize that you're having these thoughts and then push them aside. Practice this commonly and then slowly those thoughts become less and less because we become more in control of what's coming into your mind. This is a hard practice. I don't think it's ever achievable to have a completely still mind. But then some people will claim they do. Worldly thoughts of a beginning practitioner don't amount to much. With apparent truths come to mind as you advance your spiritual training, casual ideas, the form of divine revelation or spiritual instruction, you need to discern and evaluate carefully. You do. This is true. Remember, discern the internal inner discourse of self to that which is coming from somewhere else. Discernment is called saniwa, meaning discernment of the divine. Dangerous for a person to become arrogant without checking on oneself. This is true. We all suffer from that. I do at times as well. Beginning with one thought, one mind. If you truly enter a deep state, then Chinkon can lead you into a realm known as the realm of mindlessness and thoughtlessness, emptiness in other words. Most people cannot reach this level. Concentrate your mind on one thought. Repeat the chanting of some appropriate words called the number song of heaven over a long period of time. Another way of achieving mental concentration is simply by focusing on one thought. Focus is on only a pure and clean thought. Example, a simple grateful thought such as Kami, I truly thank you very much, would work for this purpose. When you successfully reach a concentrated mental state and the realm free from all ideas and thoughts, it might be for only 1 or 2 seconds. This realm is purely clean and bright, transparent everywhere, and filled with limitless wisdom. No matter how short the moment is, you can touch the eternal existing. Various realms, if you continue Chinkon practice, you will experience many different realms. This is astral travel, experiencing realms. We've all done this, I've done this myself. It disappears from a time, comes back later. It depends on how you continue with the practice, meditation and calmness. Each person has his or her own experience, and depending upon the person, the experiences are all different. If you fall asleep during the practice, it may be just as well. You slip into deep sleep and then wake up. Between the drowsy state and the awakening state, there is a subtle gap. You enter a totally different world, as the valley free from all ideas and thoughts. Now, this subtle gap is a state in which remote viewers and psychics and mediums enter consciously to receive messages, to bilocate their consciousness, to remote view, to see psychical visions, to do psychic readings, a mediumship. This is the state that they enter between sleep and wakefulness, but they do it in a conscious state of wakefulness. Beginners, one may experience the inside of the brain filled with dazzling light, may feel enveloped by a golden mist, preliminary states of consciousness according to hidden teaching. The Yamakage family people will see mist, smoke, sun, wind, fire, fluorescence, crystal, and the moon. Sometimes a coal black experience may occur instead of light. Heart and mind to feel extremely exalted. Your eyes fill with tears to be able to be in this still state of mind. You need to keep a clear consciousness and not lose your rational faculty. As for proper discernment, you must be guided by an experienced and reputable instructor. You don't always have to be, but it's useful to sometimes seek guidance from someone, but don't become a follower at their feet. Do not follow anyone. Take instruction and guidance as it serves, and when you've moved on, move on. Do not become a follower of anyone or anything. It is not good if people become attached experiences in the other world or seek this kind of experience too much. It induces a new attachment that can arouse negative feelings of arrogance and pride. Yes, this is true. Look at the New Age and look at everyone's a psychic, everyone's a spiritualist, everyone's a medium, everyone's a tarot reader, everyone's is more psychical and experienced and in touch with the hidden than anyone else. This happens all the time. The secret knowledge of Yamakage Shinto. The Yamakage Shinto includes other methods of practice. In the sphere of secret knowledge, these are Goten Gasho, 5 great vowels. In other words, the Jinju, great divine incantation. Goten Gasho is a method of prayer in which the tips of the 5 fingers touch each other as they are held up over the forehead, and a magical finger posture with this method. So basically do that overhead. First, sit either a relaxed and formal way. Stretch your arms to the sides and then bring them up and up, drawing a large arc. Then turn your palm towards heaven in order to feel energy from above. Arms towards the heavens, catching the sky. Feel the energy that resembles something like electricity. Visualize the whole universe inside the palms of the great energy. Concentrate mentally on the great spirit of Kami. Bring hand gradually down. The method of Godeboin involves chanting each vowel A, O, U, E, I, as long as you can in one breath. Deijinju, the great divine incantation, is a recitation of the sound Eiji Marikan. Eiji Marikan must be pronounced in a different way in this incantation. Seeking the clean and bright heart mind. Thus far is the summary of the systematic method of Chinkon. Practice in Yamakage Shinto. By repeating this practice many times, you can bring the disorganized Chinkon, which is the 4 souls, into focus and achieve serenity. You make now Mitama shine more brightly, the divine breath. You gain the ability to communicate with the inner Kami. Not think that a mystical experience is the only goal. The goal of Shintoists is a clean and bright heart and mind. Being overly concerned with logic and details or dressing up in a robe of mysticism will be greatly harmful. This humility, in other words, is also there. What are the characteristics of persons experiencing the deep realm? You have to know that we human beings are really very much in the realm of illusion. Human beings' unification with Kami gained through Chinkon practice, an individual subjective experience. It is difficult to judge whether or not it is a deep or shallow experience or true or false. Who have experienced advanced spirituality and have experience of the deep realm show clearly detectable and objective signs of their advancements. The signs are: this person radiates cleanness and purity. During meditation, stands out in a dimly lit atmosphere. During meditation, this practitioner clearly radiates white light from the head to the shoulders. The practitioner's view of life becomes clear. It is not caught up swayed by the outside events. Person's emotional life becomes calm and tranquil, and facial expression becomes warm and kind. That light is an objective fact, people say. That person appears to be shining. Even people with normal sensibility feel the subtle vibrations or light that is released. This is true for real people who are achieving calmness of state, and not just pretending to be this. Remember, it's hard it takes a lot of discernment to find someone who's pretending to be of this state, because you can pretend. Only your inner feeling will tell you if something's real, your intuitive gut feeling, your discernment from within, not from mind, will determine that. And it's also people that you follow, guru, rabbis, priests and popes. Discern them all in this way. The path to service: if you do not have a well-formed character, then neither mystical experiences nor psychic and spiritual power has any meaning at all. Psychic and spiritual power is also effective in solving various problems and in helping other people. It is. Psychic and spiritual is nothing more than a human faculty. This is also true, but it's a spiritual, esoteric faculty which is determined and established as the soul moves through the psychical in the middle, from the left to the right, to the spiritual on the right. Psychic power is not necessarily consistent with traits of good character. Absolutely true. Just because someone says they're a psychic or a medium or a tarot card or a spiritualist or an esoteric practitioner or some master this or guru that or rabbi, priest or pope, doesn't mean they're good people. Anyone can put a robe and claim divinity. Anyone can claim psychical practices. Doesn't mean that they're good people. Doesn't mean that they have the heart that is truly integrated with Nao Hinomitama. This is something you have to feel and determine with discernment from within your own spirit soul. Do not do this just because somebody has a name, or someone wears a garment, or someone establishes a church, or stands in a pulpit, or a throne, or a balcony looking down upon you, or espouses a certain state just because of their title or any practice or study they've done. Doesn't make them good, and doesn't make them divine. There is no divine conduit to the Father on this earth. It does not exist, because the divine conduit is within yourself. Don't seek it in another. If you become showy about your psychic power, then it will distort one's character and drag a person into the influence of spirits of a very low rank. This can happen because what happens, they end up going into dark practices. They tend up going into areas of misadventure and tributaries of distortion, perversion and inversion. Happens all the time. Truly deep realm of unification with Kami, they will not attach importance to that experience or the power. Experience and power can be meaningful only in the context of harmony, love, grace, gratitude and affection towards that all that is created by the Kami, by the universe, all that is. Then must spring from them human experience of the realm of unification with Kami. The first stage of the journey, we need to move on to the life of service to others as well as taking care of the self, but not service of self. We also serve the work of the invisible Kami. Remember, life of service is giving yourself to the service of others, but being mindful for the needs of the self at the same time, but not in an arrogant, material, greed, self-righteous, virtuous way. Service does not have to be elaborate or large scale. Simple voluntary work or showing kindness to people around you. It's true. What counts is rather the practice of gratitude overflowing from your own heart, free from arrogance and stemming from thoughts of altruism. Altruism, people do this all the time. The rich and famous do this, but are they really doing it with true heart, or are they really doing it just to give you the notion that they're good, so you follow things that they want you to do later? Remember, not all foundations are are good underneath. And this is good, showing kindness to people around you. There's a little test I like to give you, and some people may not like this comment. But look around you to pet owners, people with dogs, cats, any pet. And then ask yourself, a person would fight to the death for their animal, will give and sacrifice their own selves, will give themselves, an animal, better food and nourishment than they would give themselves for a dog or a cat or an animal. Now that's a sentient being, you must look after them and love them if you're going to have them as a pet. But my question is, when you walk past a person on the street, when one walks past a person with less, because there are so many people, have we become emotionally detached? Have we become almost to the point of we feel nothing for others anymore because we walk past them and we judge them instead? Do we treat other people in the same way as we treat our animals? Or do we treat human beings as lesser than our pets? I think we do. And I think I'm perfectly right about this. That when we start treating all human beings in the same way, when we understand the nature of existence as we treat our pets, then humanity will change considerably in this way. Think about it. Don't just throw rocks at me just because you may think I'm attacking you as a pet owner. Not the case. I'm asking you to think about your behaviour to others and to your animals. There's a distortion there which exists in this human race, as I observe all the time when I look around me. I see it all the time. What is prayer? Prayer, or Norito, is Shinto, the great divine incantation during Chinkon practice. More than mental concentration. Action is the need for sincere prayer towards Kami. It is sincere prayer. The right way of prayer is to pay respect to Kami as if your yearning feeling for Kami flows from the bottom of your soul. Soul is, in a sense, like a broadcast station. Our thoughts and feelings are always emitted as a spiritual thought wave. We pour abundant love and respect towards Kami in the soul. This resolve and respect would reach even to the end of the universe. Prayer must involve speaking towards your own interior and thinking with your whole heart and mind. This is true. And gratitude also. Remember, give gratitude daily, pray daily, meditate daily, be silent at least daily. Speak to Hinomitama within you. The greater self, the Father, being as if it's sitting across the dinner table with you. Converse in your mind constantly. When you're in your home alone, speak openly to that which is there in the unseen before you materialize. Speak constantly because that's how you allow it around you all the time. This mind concentration is quite difficult for us to achieve. Some say that the limit of human mental concentration is about 2 minutes. Well, I think it's less than that these days for many. It happens that worldly thoughts arise in your mind during the process of mental concentration, just as during Chinkon practice. This 2 minutes is useful to know. If you're watching one of my videos or any video, any long form interview, any long form podcast, and you can pay attention to the whole thing, then you are increasing concentration and you're not. There's very few who can watch these videos. Many can't even watch mine that go from half an hour, 20 minutes, 40 minutes to an hour because they just take that long. If something is meaningful to you and has some meaning, you'll watch a long form video, you'll watch a long form podcast or interview. This is also testing your concentration. There are so many who just cannot do that. Several ways to practice mind concentration, or read a book. There's another piece of concentration. Several ways to practice mind concentration. One is repeating words tens and hundreds of times by entrusting intense thoughts to those words. This is chanting. This is Om or anything else that you may wish to chant. Or one can listen to one's voice of prayer intently with a mental concentration. Or you can imagine the Kami that you're praying to imagine it in your mind. As for Dejinju, the great divine incantation, which is Aji Marikan, you can chant it intently with a concentrated in mind and pray as you listen to your own voice. Prayer is actually talk to your inner kami, so it has to be discharged with a quiet voice. Even a murmur, I don't believe that I pray with voice. I pray outwardly and inwardly with voice, with vibration. Obviously, if you're in a private space, do it quietly, in a quieter way. But if you're not, in your own home, in your own space, pray openly. For example, the power of Noro, the priestess of Ominawa, is done in such a quiet voice that even people right beside her cannot tell what kind of prayer she's offering to Kami. During Chinkon practice, you do not offer the dedication of gratitude towards Kami in a loud voice either. You have to talk to Kami in a murmur that comes from the innermost part of the heart. When chanting the great divine incantation, well, you see this in Buddhist temples as well, where they're chanting and murmuring, it goes, they're actually murmuring a whole load of words and incantations, but it sounds like a hum. The spirit of words, or kotodama, is of utmost importance in Shinto. So it is critical to have correct pronunciation for each sound. I do agree with that. Words have power, sound has frequency and power. Pray as a dedication of gratitude towards Kami. Pray as a dedication of gratitude towards Kami. A prayer through people express their wish to Kami. Fill your heart and mind with only the thought towards Kami and pray single-mindedly. Your prayer will reach to the spirit of Kami. Prayer never fails if it goes through Kami. Remember, Kami is the divine Godhead, the spirit realm. If it goes to Kami, it is said that egoistic prayer never goes through. Prayer doesn't necessarily manifest in the same way as you wanted it to. Pray with, surrender yourself and commit everything to the case of Kami. One should commit oneself at the risk of one's life, but in reality it should not be so much of a burden. Pray with abundant love, dedicating yourself to Kami, the spirit. Sincere wishes are truly realized. There is another type of prayer. Pledge yourself and the demonstration of power of your own spirit soul. In order to have this prayer answered, there should be complete belief and confidence. Prayer has the status of a wishing prayer. You must think at a deep level of your heart. This has already been realized and is definite, i.e. project, visualize the outcome. This is positive thinking, remember, it's all energy expressed outward. Everything that exists in the material has already been incarnated and expressed and created in the etheric realm, in the energetic projection of your life before you realize it in physical manifestation. You must project it and create it in energy before it becomes real in matter. Everything works this way. It's as above, so below. The realm of grace, the infinite universe, the probability and possibility of infiniteness was created through thought, the expression of energy projected as thought into manifestation. Human thoughts are extremely powerful. What you truly believe may be realized without failure. This is true. If you are determined and the bottom of your heart can maintain determination for a long time, it will certainly be realized. This is the power of human mind and the power of the human spirit soul. Prayer is not an act of speaking loudly with eyes upturned, but rather of thinking quietly and intensely. In this practice it is. This thinking and praying will eventually enter one's subconscious. What to do when you visit a shrine to pay respect to Kami? Before entering a shrine, you must wash your hands and mouth. Proceed to the place of worship in front of the shrine. Bow 2 times and clap your hands 2 times. Afterwards, you bow deeply and offer words of gratitude. This is a basic way of worshipping at a Shinto shrine. After the prayer, bow 2 times and clap 2 times and conclude the final bow. So entering and exiting is the same. The word hoten means respectively offer something to Kami, a donation. Going to just any shrine to worship is not recommended. Particular spiritual line or relationship for each person, a shrine of our choice according to our spiritual line. Shrine indiscriminately and praise there. It will not work. Pray at a shrine during a sightseeing trip, merely famous shrine, because it is possible to draw into oneself strange, low-ranking spirit residing at that shrine. Devotional visits to a shrine must therefore have a clear purpose and not take place within. So what he's talking about is you can do. I mean, I don't believe that if you just go as a tourist to a shrine and just do an odd prayer and give a donation, suddenly you get an attachment. This is not the case. But he's saying if you are going to follow this as a practice, then pick a shrine which resonates with you, your family line, or a spiritual line in some way. And finally, on this for Chinkon, prayer is Chinkon. One would master the right way of praying. Your inner Nihomitama shines, which is the divine breath of God. Prayer is also a work of purification in Chinkon. State of pure prayer and hear a sound like the tinkle of a golden bell. The darkness within the mind and heart disappears, as if the sun was breaking the night. Your heart and mind will be filled with joy and gratitude. It is important to make time for prayer. In the midst of daily life routines, make for introspective moments. It is important to do so. Difficult to keep persistent, but you must do this. This is where it makes a innermost change. It must be transformative, remember. Offering your thoughts wholeheartedly to Kami. Looking steadily into your inner mind is Chinkon. Chinkon is the stilling of the mind at tandem and the rebalancing of the four souls. This will make Nahomitama, the Wakamitama of Kami, within you shine. Practice of Chinkon, and through conversation with the inner Kami, you purify and cultivate your spirit soul. Again, moving from the left to the right. Thus, true Chinkon practice takes place in your heart and mind. Neither become obsessed with external formality, nor boast, mistake either to aim or at gaining supernatural power. You must not become trapped in arrogant pride, nor become a slave to the process of spiritual training. Chinkon should lead us to a state of spiritual calm. Remember, the soul, the heart, the mind, and the shaft of the body as the vessel must regain consciousness, must interlude and become unified with the spirit and the breath of the Father, which is within the entire self. Okay, and I say thank you for listening to this. It was a rather more lengthy 45 minutes. Remember, see grace before you. This last chapter solidifies everything that we've gone through in Shinto, because this is the last chapter. There is one summary chapter which I'm going to go through, which talks about some of the notes taken and definitions that we'll just review. But essentially, we've gone through the Shinto, the fundamentals of it, and pulling out. What I wanted to do here was pull out the sameness, the precepts underlying Shinto, which is also defining you to move towards grace. They all do. And it's always within you. The second coming is always within you. That's what Jesus came for, Krishna, and others asking you. All these avatars and ascended beings and messengers that were brought to us are telling us that the path to the Father is within me, i.e. the teachings, the Christos within you, the practice, the temple, the shrine, the bridal chamber, is that which is within you. It is the church within you. The church is there. It's to become what we are in spirit, but do it whilst you're in body. To understand the nature of the infinite while you are in body. To understand Nahomitama while you are in body. To not fear death. Understand the eternal, the infinite, the state of grace, the presence of our home, true home, while you are in body. This is the salvation revealing of the inner divinity in the library of gnosis and knowledge within you. The pages are energetically turned, if you allow them to become all that is, all that we are, and who is. Transformative spirituality is the one that you make part of your everyday action, word, thoughts, and intentions. Remember, there are no rules other than those divine rules that matter. Human laws, human rules, human sayings are meaningless. They're just reasons and explanations and excuses to explain away and excuse away our behaviours to each other. Okay, I want to say thank you for listening to this. I appreciate all of you coming onto this channel and sharing this with others. I truly appreciate it. Remember, spiritual suggestions, anything you want to know, send me messages through the social media channels or the Gmail on all of my video slides, have them. Pop it over there, and I will respond to it. And look out for the final summary chapter, which is coming in the next few minutes, and the Detrius goals, which will be coming in a couple of months from now. But in the meantime, there will be free teaching and free guidance sessions available if you wish to join. Please do so, but you will find the advert for those coming up once I've architected how I'm going to do them. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate your time and your grace always. And I say God bless you all, and take care. Till next time.